Well, it's that time again to call out Channel 1. Yep, we're going to call them out again, as usual, because you know the deal with them. Ignore Queen Summer is still happening. Yeah. Oh boy, I cannot believe I even have to call these people out, but they deserve it because, again, this is what goes on with Spectrum, and this is what goes on with Charter, their supposed owner, if you want to call them that. But yes, this is what's on the front page of the website today. Guess what? Let's talk about public bathrooms. And meanwhile, we have bigger issues in Queens that we do need to talk about. And we'll get into that. I am happy about this news. So it looks like on Monday, Channel 1 is going to be covering the Republican debate, which, I'm not thrilled about Errol Lewis, whatever his name is, moderating this. Can't Channel 1 do us a quick favor and just let Dominic Carter come back? This is what I mean. Ever since Dominic Carter left New York 1, their debates have just not been watchable. I'm going to admit it. All right, when Dominic Carter was moderating all of those debates with Randall Ferrer and Bill Thompson, those debates went very smooth because Dominic is a professional journalist. But this Dale Lewis guy, ever since he took over, it's like, it's not watchable. It's not watchable. I'm sorry. And of course, they're going to have the Democrat debate right here. Right here on the homepage. Why aren't I shocked? So, I'm going to obviously DVR the debate on Monday night. I'm going to have to figure out how to get that set up, and then we'll react to it next week, because I am just glad that, again, we have the Republicans debating for the final time, which is good, but okay, let's get to some important news, and I'm glad at least Channel 1 covered this. Now, why are we going to talk about Vicky Palladino today? Well, this is a very important topic that should be discussed. And, I know I'm going to be put in the category that this video is not made for kids. But listen, we've had Mark Dice talk about this on YouTube. And I think it's my turn to talk about it. So here we go. New York City Councilmember Vicky Palladino, who represents District 19 in Queens, drew criticism from her colleagues after labeling drag queen events at New York City schools as degradacy and accused progressives of having no problem with child grooming and sexualization in a series of tweets that she sent out on Monday. So, in one of the tweets that Councilwoman Palladino sent out, progressives may have no problem with child grooming and sexualization. This will not happen on my watch. Kids deserve a quality education free from political manipulation and sexual content. So, basically, this was actually inspired, and a lot of people don't realize this in the media. This is actually a trend that began from Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, who a couple of months ago signed the Don't Say Gay bill, which, everybody in the corporate press likes to criticize it because elementary school kids are not allowed to learn about homosexuality in the state of Florida. So I'm glad that, somebody in New York is finally denouncing this. And I obviously want to mention that I do have a lot of close contact with Councilwoman Palladino off the record, and obviously I also reached out to a former candidate who was running in Lower Manhattan last year off the record about this issue, and she's glad that we have somebody who is speaking up for us against this issue. And we have a congresswoman in Georgia, Marjorie Taylor Greene, denouncing this. So, you're going to have a lot of division on this, but the problem is, again, at a young age, these children should not be, going through with it. So, Look at this. You have Eric Adams opening his mouth as usual. I mean, if you want drag time, that should be something that happens above the age of 18. Just my honest opinion. I believe in LGBT, but at the same time, it's just ridiculous. The fact that you have Chi Asi, another former council member, it's gotten to a point where a lot of personal threats have been made against Councilwoman Palladino, and it's also gotten to a point where the 109 precinct had to come to Francis Lewis Boulevard at her own campaign. Well, it is a campaign office because remember, she is running again in 2023 because of this whole redistricting nonsense. So, how could this lead to violence? This is not going to lead to violence. And then, this isn't the first time that Vicky's been thrown with controversy. When she was running for state senate, everybody accused her of being anti-Semitic, which was not true, because I know Vicky's family very well, and there are members of her family who are Jewish. So, again, this is another example of the corporate press attacking Vicky Palladino as usual. And it just needs to stop. So let's get to the other meaningful news, because I don't want to spend too much time talking about this today. So let's go to the breaking news that I did want to lead off with today. We do have a lot to talk about in Fresh Meadows, so let's get started on that. First up in Fresh Meadows, first issue, the 7-Eleven on Union Turnpike by St. John's University was robbed last night, 2:30 a.m. A suspect entered the store, and one suspect stated that he had a firearm by simulating it from the pocket. The clerk at the counter complied, gave cash. Then there was another robbery in Ridgewood. So, this is so disturbing. Alright, the fact that, again, everything's going on in Fresh Meadows for a reason lately. And we're going to get into some other news about a couple businesses in just a second. So let's take a look and go to 168th Street. Because remember, this is literally right outside of St. John's University. Alright? And mind you, tomorrow, St. John's is supposed to be the early voting site for the Fresh Meadows community for the gubernatorial primary coming up. Alright, so I'll show you where the 7-Eleven is. So, this is the 7-Eleven here. And I've been in this one. In fact, me and Matt Camper have even... I'll ignore that, but look at this. This is how... Oh boy. So I had a little bit of a technical difficulty there, but you've seen how this area has changed over the years. I didn't even realize there was a check cashing place. But this is what's going on with Fresh Meadows. This is what's constantly has been the issue. In fact, as we're going to get into another business that shut down recently, let's go over here. And just to take a look at an example of what has been going on, let's go back to, we can actually go back. Look at this. The old Fame Diner. Oh, man, this is nostalgia right here. I can't believe Google has that. Let's see. Was Fame still around in 2012? Okay, no, it wasn't, but you can see here, look at this. This was when the Fame Diner shut down around here. So, let's get to the other news. And a famous business on Surrey Place has shut its doors for good. And what famous business are we talking about today? That would be no other than Bagels and Cream. Yep. So let's read what Laura Uhle had to post about that, because we are going to get into it in just a second. So let's pull it up right here if I can find it. So I did see a picture. Here it is. And now what we're going to do, because I have finally figured out OBS very well, this is it. The longtime bakery on Surrey Place and Union Turnpike has shut its doors for good. The Bagels and Cream location was a fixture for early risers for almost 30 years. The store location will be empty, awaiting the new tenant for the newly arrived demographic area. Management was not accessible for reasons unknown. So, we know the real reason why it closed. It's so obvious, because Lulu's moved across the street. I'll show you. Honestly, I don't know why Lulu's moved. It really didn't make any sense. I mean, look at this. Let's see what used to be here before Lulu's even moved in. Yep. It used to be a karate studio right before COVID. In fact, yeah, Modern Samurai was there for a very long time. Look at that. So let's show you where the old Lulu's used to be on Union and 193rd. Let's go down here. I'm sorry if I'm focusing a lot on Fresh Meadows, but you have to understand that, you know, this is what's going on in my community. This is what's going on here. So let's go back to 2017. Let's do that. So I know MCM's been here for a while. They've been around since I moved in. Because I used to live in Bayside before I came to this community. So let's see. Take a look down. Because I think Lulu's was around here. You know, we're going to have to go further down. Let's see. I think Lulu's was somewhere around here, if I'm correct. And if not, then we're going to have to possibly go by Danny's. Might have been around here. Might have been around here. But if not, then I'll have to pause the video and then we'll come back and we'll find the old location. Unless this is it right here. Yeah, see, this was it. This was the old bakery. Allen's Bake Shop. And right here, Allen's was still around in 2019. And then look, Allen's basically closed. So Allen's was always here for a while. And then Lulu's just decided, oh yeah, this used to be Violet's. And then you had Biaggi's right here. And this used to be the old computer store, so apparently an attorney's office moved in here. Look at that. So Fresh Meadows has just seen a lot of changes over the years. And then let's get to the last change. This one right here. This is what a friend of mine posted, so I do apologize about that. I'm going to center it here. So look at that. Fresh Meadows Food Mart. This used to be the old, you know, natural market. And I don't know. I heard the owners of the stationery market were moving in. So let's see if that rumor is true or not. Lastly, in local community Fresh Meadows news, let's talk about my councilman, James Gennaro, who represents the 24th District. So apparently, if you are not aware of the recent news and endorsements for governor of New York, James Gennaro has endorsed Congressman Tom Suozzi for governor, which doesn't surprise me, given that a lot of harsh stuff was said from James Gennaro about Kathy Hochul. So let's read this article. So here we go. Councilman James Gennaro, who recently endorsed Councilman Tom Suozzi for Congress, criticized Governor Kathy Hochul and the state legislator in Albany for the lack of actions in addressing the growing crime rate by clamping down on loose bail reforms during a press conference Monday at Pullman Oak Houses. Councilman Gennaro called upon them to look into passing criminal justice reforms that dangerous individuals who were arrested just cannot walk out of jail the next day and commit more crimes. According to Councilman Gennaro, Albany has addressed very few public safety concerns. He believes that he's played a big role in the rising crime rate, not just in New York City, but across New York State. So, he says that the state needs to allow judges to start remanding defendants based on their potential danger as they pose. So, New York is the only state that does not let judges do that. So, I am glad that James Gennaro is talking about this because, I don't know, by him endorsing Tom Suozzi, it just shows that, he's getting sick and tired of this. So, trust me, I think James Gennaro really does care about the crime right now. I think he's getting disturbed. And I'm thinking the only reason why he's probably getting a little bit alarmed about this, and maybe it's just my theory, but we've been hearing a lot of sirens going on in Fresh Meadows since last week. I mean, maybe James is scared about everything. I can't blame him because I know he lives south of Surrey Place. So, remember, he lives in Jamaica Estates. So if he's hearing something out of the unusual like I am in my part of Fresh Meadows, then, something just tells me that something isn't right. And especially because the Gennaros always walk into Lulu's. So they're probably alarmed about all the sirens going around Union Turnpike lately. So can I blame him? No. Okay, we don't want to read that. But I do want to read this because Joy Jung, one of my viewers, did send me this article. So I am going to read this one. Actually, let's just get into the news from Melinda Katz's office first. Then we'll go to the other news stories that I do want to get into. Because I at least have 2 videos I need to play. So, actually no, it's 3 videos I technically do need to play. So, let's get into this. 2 men indicted on attempted murder charges for attacking a father and son in Elmhurst. So, it says here that Supreme Gooding and Robert Walk were arraigned Monday before Queens Supreme Court Justice David Kirshner on 17-count indictment, charging them with attempted murder, assault, grand larceny, criminal possession of a weapon, and criminal possession of stolen property. So, obviously, if you remember, back in March, these 2 guys right here were defending themselves and defending their business for an attempted robbery in Elmhurst, right by the hospital. So this happened at Louis Pizza on Baxter Avenue. So we all remember what happened. And that was a very unfortunate incident. So, yep. So I want to go into the specifics. Alright, so it says here that Wack needs to return back to court on July 21st. Goodling needs to return back to court on July 18th. If convicted, both suspects face up to a maximum of 25 years in prison. So, good. They need to be in jail for a long time. They need to be in jail for a very long time. That's the thing. And then let's get to this. Several unprovoked attacks in Western Queens. A man from Bayside. I mean, where's all this violent rage coming from? So it says here that Donnie Ubara allegedly injured 3 people during a 4-day reign of terror in subway stations and a Roosevelt Avenue bakery last week. So, look at this. Look at all these incidents. I mean, I don't even want to read them. That's how disturbed I am about this. So where is this man from in Bayside? Here we go. Mr. Ubura of 202nd Street in Bayside was taken into... Oh, this is laughable. The suspect was taken into custody at Utopia Parkway in Whitestone. You literally cannot make this stuff up. Alright, so the suspect will be requested to go back to court on July 6th. Look at that. Oh, look at this. Apparently, he was let out again on bail. So, Keechant Sewell, you know, I'm going to say this right now. I can tell Keechant Sewell's getting frustrated. I can literally tell. But again, Eric Adams is just there for showtime. You know that. I think Keechant Sewell secretly wishes that Eric Adams was out. Because remember, she had a job in Nassau County that required her to report to Pat Ryder. So, keep that in mind. Trust me, I don't even want to read this. Because we have to read this. This is more important. This just recently happened. So, guess what? Robbery near Flushing Meadows Corona Park. So, when did this happen? So this happened on Sunday morning, June 12th. This happened at Corona Avenue and Otis Avenue, a block west of Flushing Meadows Corona Park at 1:22 in the morning. Well, it says here that two friends took off. The victim's two friends noticed trouble. The gangs began punching and kicking the victim. So it says that cell phone was robbed. So... good news is the victim was taken to Elmhurst Hospital, where he was treated and released. So, I don't even want to read the suspect description. I mean, this is what's going on in Queens. This is what New York won. It's constantly ignoring us. So, I have a couple videos that we're going to dive into. Now, I'm going to give a commentary on In the Papers to wrap this up today. But I want you to watch a video from Channel 7... first up, about what happened, another crime that happened in Elmhurst. And what's the crime, you may be wondering? So in this video, we're going to watch something very disturbing. Alright? And thankfully they don't show it, but a doorman who works in a building in Midtown was attacked by a suspect with a metal pipe in Elmhurst. And the NYPD is investigating it as a hate crime. So, let's watch this.
News exclusive. The victim of a hate crime in Queens is telling us about the frightening attack. He says simply walking home in the Jackson Heights section when he was suddenly hit by a person with a pipe. A person who said he disliked Spanish people. Here's Sonia Rincon with the victim's story.
And thank God I'm alive.
Mauricio Bermudez says he's still in a lot of pain from the assault by a stranger Sunday night that left him with gashes in his head that needed staples.
He broke my arm, and I have a lot of black and blue all my whole body.
The NYPD is investigating it as a bias attack. Bermudez says he was walking home on Roosevelt Avenue past this smoke shop on the corner of 80th Street.
And I was walking by the store, and it was this guy in front of the store talking racist, saying, I don't like Spanish people, like, what are you doing here? So I went back to him and I said, you have any problem with Spanish people? You know, if you don't like Spanish people, so what are you doing in this neighborhood?
He says the man went into the store, so Bermudez continued on his way, but the man came back out.
And then he followed me with a pipe.
And somewhere in the middle of the street, he says the man hit him with the pipe.
I tried to defend myself, but I don't carry no weapon, and I never will.
The man grabbed his wallet and took off, leaving Bermudez bruised and bloody.
See, that's a hate crime right there. That's easily a hate crime. You know, Channel 1 again. This is ridiculous. This is completely ridiculous. So it says it happened on Roosevelt Avenue near 80th Street. So I don't even want to play the rest of the video. I'm just glad that this guy is okay. But This is easily a hate crime. Okay, so where is the next video I wanted to play from you? So at least Channel 1 did cover this, because this was a very disturbing story. So if you didn't hear, a subway rider was dragged onto a platform in Brooklyn. So let's watch this video. And again, I want to give Channel 1 credit. Look how much time they spent on this. Want to see how much time? Play it right here. 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Okay, so what I want to do is shrink this down for a second here. So, ooh, okay, we don't want that. Yeah, don't worry. I'm going to fix this, folks. I just do apologize. I do want to center it. Okay, we may have to zoom out. Do apologize. Okay, that's a lot better. That's a lot better, so... do it like this. Okay, that's more like it. So now we can watch the video. So I'm just going to hit play.
She said, "Help, stop the train." And I saw it immediately.
A witness to a grisly train accident that cost a 37-year-old Brooklyn man his life. Yao Kin Lau on his way home from work as a restaurant server, and the man both stepped off a northbound Q train at the Avenue M station in Brooklyn late Wednesday. Lau heard the cries of help from the man, identified as Marcus Bryant. His foot was caught between the train and the platform.
I'm yelling to stop the train. Unfortunately, there's no one besides me at the platform.
And the conductor, apparently unaware, a man's life was at risk.
It just goes very fast, so it just in a split second, no one realized it. And he just been dragged for probably 30 feet, 40 feet, and just dropped to the middle of the track.
Lau dialed 911, ran downstairs from the elevated station to reach a booth agent to stop the next train, but there was no time. A second Q train coming into the station.
This is why you have to mind the gap.
Upstairs and told the second train operator, said, "There's a man under the track right now. You might hit him again." So they immediately stopped the train.
EMS took Bryant to Meadows Hospital, where he was pronounced dead.
What was a
I don't know how he
tragic
got on the
accident
gap
last
in the
night.
first
Our
place.
hearts go out to the victim and his loved. Go out to the victim. Tragic accident last night. Our hearts go out to the victim and his loved ones.
The head of New York City Transit, Richard Davey, visited the station and walked the platform.
We're also here to find out what happened, to make sure this doesn't happen again.
Davey described protocol for trains leaving the station.
That a conductor should have his or her head out, out the window when the doors close, and be looking to the left and to the right for approximately 75 feet. That's our normal protocol.
Even though Lau tried to get help, he says he wishes he could have saved the man.
I wish I could do better. I didn't realize that
I
the
mean,
next
how
train
could
would
you
come
save
in
the person
2
when
or
he
3
was
minutes.
stuck on the subway
If
gap?
I have more time, I wish I could do better.
The head of New York City Transit said the train crew's been placed out of service pending the investigation. He added that there's been no determination of fault at this point. In Brooklyn, Dan Rivoli, New York 1.
So that was a very good report, and again, they spent 2 minutes on this, so that was excellent. But again, you know, this is why I had to bring this up today, because Channel 1 does have some redeeming qualities, but now we're going to watch In the Papers to wrap up today's video.
Time for looking at some of what's in the papers
So
on this
what's in
Friday
the
morning.
papers
Another
today?
installment in the January 6 hearings yesterday, front page
Oh
of
my
the Daily
God,
News.
are you kidding me?
Focusing on the pressure Donald Trump put
cares
on
about
Mike
the
Pence to
Liz
avoid
Cheney
election
show?
results to go along with his overturn the election scheme. Governor Hochul says she may be close to lifting the mask mandate on subways. Disability advocates are pushing for her to keep it in place, even though I think now the majority.
And look, you know, the bottom line is, in terms of wearing a mask on the subway, I've been saying this for a while, and, you know, I'm going to probably address this with Richard Davey next week when I am scheduled to speak to him. I'm going to tell Richard, look, can you at least make a compromise with the governor where, at least on the platforms, you know, can we at least take our mask off? Because, honestly, I cannot even imagine going through another summer where on the platform, it gets very, very hot. I mean, I'm fine with wearing it on the train. Don't get me wrong, but, you know, it's very hot down there. It's very uncomfortable. So let's see, because this could also impact how the buses go. I mean, we'll have to see how it ends up. But let's see what this decision could do, because it also could impact nursing homes. Because what doesn't make any sense is, why is Connecticut allowing people to not wear a mask in a nursing home when New York isn't? So
The majority of people are refusing to wear masks on the subway. The disability advocates say keep it
let's
on
see
the
what
city's
else
subways
back here
in the city
today.
this week. 1895. 6 World Cup soccer excitement. The games will be played
I mean,
at
this is
midnight.
so
There was
obvious
also
what
some
the corrupt
music news that
media
came too
is,
late for the year.
focused
Fixed
on.
rate mortgages have not jumped by this
Look
much
at
in a single
this!
week since
They're talking
1987.
about the
The
economy!
average 30-year loan now at 5.78%. It was close.
They're
Prince's
bowing
Secret
down
Service
to
had to hold him
freaking
for nearly
Altice
5
over there.
hours
It's
in the
Newsday.
Capitol. Be worse
That's
on
who owns
Tuesdays,
Newsday.
Wednesdays, and Thursdays. Those are the days. Not utter
My
a sound
God.
to another. You can check that box. Interactions with
Strangers are good for
crucial
us. I
to our
mean,
social and emotional
what the hell is the
well-being.
New York Times
In Weekend
even
Arts,
writing?
feature on artist Duke Riley.
Let's
In
see, are they at least
particular,
gonna
on the
mention
front page, the Post
this?
highlights its Lee Zeldin endorsement, choosing Zeldin as the Republican candidate for governor.
So
on Prime,
obvious what they're
the Post
focused
praising the fact that he would roll back for a governor who has made plenty of mistakes
so
in a
at
short
least the
time
Post
in office.
endorsed
The Post
Suozzi in the
believes
Dem
Suozzi
primary,
is
'cause I only knew about the
demeanor,
Republican
petty
one.
larceny in both. Steve Kuzo.
But again, I think
summer's
we do
hottest
need a
spot.
recall law. Because the problem was, California was able to almost recall Gavin Newsom, but yet New York doesn't have a law. So you know what? I'm done here. I am done. I'm done with this idiocracy at this point. Channel 1, as I said, I'm going to keep calling you out as long as I have to. So that's it.